So, here's the scoop. I'm a makeup guru. I love anything and everything, from Sephora to MAC to Kylie's products. Even Jeffree Star makes a damn good highlighter. But I'm here to send a word of advice. Read ingredients. They matter. And throw out all your old expired makeup. You see, something weird happened to me and I'm totally going to have to tweak my morning routine to fit my new style, but hey, whatever. Maybe I'll be a trendsetter, you know? I'm a beauty YouTuber, so I have quite a few companies send me samples and I will give my honest reviews on their products. A guaranteed good one will cost a little extra, but most are great. Some are clearly shit quality, but I speak my mind and my subscribers know and respect me for that, I think. Anyway, a few months ago, this new startup company named Godly Couture contacted me to try out a few basic products for them. It was a liquid eyeliner, a matte lipstick, and some mascara. Easy peasy. I shelved the products for a while as I had prior products to review, but I finally got to them about 2 months or so later. Here's the thing, they must have had like a crazy short shelf life, or else I'm allergic to their products because my face was not having it. I'll start with the eyeliner. Good product, but my eyes were red, itchy, and irritated within 2 hours of wearing the stuff. I thought my contacts were bothering me, so I took them out, but that seemed to make it worse. When I realized it wasn't my contacts, I tried to scrub the eyeliner off with some olive oil, but it was hardly coming off. What the fuck? So I tried sleeping. Beauty sleep and all, right? I don't know how long I slept for because I couldn't even open my eyes when I woke up. They felt like they must have been golf ball sized and my mouth and tongue were numb. Now I know I probably should have went to the hospital, but I was practically blind, so I couldn't drive or even find my phone to call someone. All I could do was stumble to my freezer and put some ice packs on my eyes. That irritated my eyes so much more, and I was running out of ideas. Like, where's Google when you need it? I'm a little embarrassed to tell you guys what I did next, but whatever, I had to, okay? I shuffled to the bathroom and grabbed my nail file, the metal kind with the pointy tip. I felt around so I could vaguely make out the slits where my eyes used to be and pushed the tip of the nail file in and slashed to the left. Then the other eye, in and to the right. There was blood and some nasty gross yellowy substance gushing from my eyes, especially from the corners, but holy fuck, I could kind of see again. Yay! Until I pulled down my bottom lid and saw some little black squirmy gnat-type bugs slithering just past my waterline. Fucking so gross. But I quickly noticed my lips. The ruby red matte lipstick that only Taylor Swift herself would wear gave my mouth pus-filled pockets lining the corners, and the skin was practically flaking off in chunks. I couldn't believe it. My tongue was covered in what looked like little whiteheads, and clearly a few had burst open, leaving behind bloody little craters in my mouth. I scrubbed my face as hard as I could. I could feel the pus pockets popping and gushing out. The water was running a kind of pink color, but I didn't care. I needed this product off my face like yesterday. So I finished up and looked back in the mirror and was so relieved. I got all that gunk off my face. Where my lips used to be was now practically just dead skin oozing with that same pus and blood. Chunks of skin were missing and I could see my teeth and corrupted tongue in areas of my absent mouth. I had one eye dangling out of the socket. I guess I scrubbed a little too deep on that one. It was practically hanging by a thread, and my eyelid was so swollen at that point that when I tugged the little nerve to free my eye, it didn't even bleed. I wrapped it in a saline solution-soaked washcloth and placed it in a baggie. I have a good surgeon, maybe he can save it. Who knows? The other eye had those nasty little black gnats basically falling out with every blink I took. They would stick to my one good eye, making it practically impossible to see. Thankfully, I flushed most of them out with water and my contact solution, and I'm currently safe and sound in my surgeon's office, just praying he can fix my mess of a face once again. I swear, I will never put that cheap no-name shit on my face again.
My wife and I just got married this past July, and seeing as how she had 2 girls from a previous marriage that I don't consider anything less than my own, we decided to make it a honeymoon/family vacation. Everything was going great to start off with. We were enjoying the local restaurants, getting out to the beach every day when it didn't rain, and finding lots of cool little things to take back home to family and friends. It was actually one of the most fun vacations I'd ever had. The hotel room that we stayed in was non-smoking, so I had to go outside onto the back porch and smoke. Oftentimes, I would sit out there and smoke, have a few beers, and just enjoy being away from all the hassle of our normal lives. There was also a pool, and sometimes I would take a few beers out there and spend an hour or so drinking and swimming. I was coming back from the pool one night and saw a couple of guys sitting out on their back porch and drinking as well, and when I've had a few, I can sometimes be a chatty guy. The wife and kids were in bed by now, and I generally stay up later than them anyway, so I figured I would say hello for a few minutes. A few minutes turned into about 2 hours, and that turned into me going over to visit almost every night after the family had done our thing. They seemed like really nice guys. They even had a couple guitars, which we would sit around and play. Now, neither of them seemed particularly savory at first glance, but I'm from the South and a lot older. Hard-working men look haggard and worn out, so I'm used to not judging a book by its cover, and I've made a few good friends that way. But, of course, sometimes what looks like a duck really is a creepy-ass duck. Fast forward to the Friday night before we were set to come back home. By this time, I had made a bit of a connection with one of the guys, to the point of giving him my address so we could be pen pals. Stupid, I know, because who the fuck does that anymore? I thought it would be awesome. He was from up north somewhere, and he didn't have a cell phone, so I thought it would be cool to keep in touch with him. Anyway, we'll call this guy Jim, and that Friday we were all, my wife, myself, my kids, and Jim, sitting around the pool having pizza, drinking some beers, and watching the kids swim. All in all, a pretty good time. A lady walks up to us out of the blue and starts talking to us about God and Christianity. I have no problem with it, and I agree with a lot of what she said. I grew up in a Christian household, and still carry and try to instill in my children a lot of the values I learned coming up. She wasn't hurting anyone, so I let her talk without much interruption. Jim, however, didn't like it at all. He would constantly huff and puff and make snide comments under his breath, and look at me for some sort of validation. I have a generally mild temper, so I let it go for a while. It was annoying me more than her, I think, but I didn't say anything. Eventually, it started to get under my skin though. It wasn't as if the lady was being rude or beating anyone over the head with anything. She was very pleasant, and her daughter and one of mine actually seemed to be getting along and having their own conversation about Adventure Time and other things. Jim was just sitting there and making his comments. I finally turned to him and asked him to stop. I told him that he was being disrespectful and that there was no call for it. He said,
"What? Do you believe this stuff or something?"
I said, "As a matter of fact, I do. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And she isn't being rude, so just chill out."
"Oh well, I guess you just want me to leave then."
"No, I wasn't going to ask you to leave. I just asked that you be respectful." He nodded, and things went on. For a while. I could tell he was getting really agitated by what the lady was saying though. Something about this guy started to feel wrong now. Eventually, old Jim had enough of this woman and said,
"Come on."
That's when I got upset. I looked at him and said, "Okay, now I am asking you to leave." He looked hurt, definitely, but I was pissed now. So he got his stuff together and walked back to his porch. Everything went fine from there, and we spent a good while talking and listening to the lady, and having a pretty decent time. Until that night, I decided that since the wife and kids were in bed, I would go for a swim and have a few beers like every other night. This time, it felt different though. I never knew what it was like to feel like you were being watched until that night. It's an odd feeling. It's like you have an itch in the back of your head, but you can't get to it to scratch it. Anyway, I shrugged it off, finished up my beers, and started walking back to my room. Just as I got to the sliding glass door leading in, I heard something that I didn't process at the time. Maybe I was too tired or too drunk, or just not paying attention. Jim was sitting on the back porch playing his guitar. As I walked past, I unconsciously wrapped my beach towel around my shoulders because it was 2 a.m. and I was wet and cold. He abruptly stopped playing, caught my glance, smiled and said,
Don't cover up your flesh.
He then went back to playing his guitar. I didn't realize what he had said until I'd gotten to our room, showered, and laid down for bed. That was when things started to click into place. I told my wife and kids about it the next day and made a joke about it. We laughed a lot, but it still kind of creeped me out. Both guys were gone the next day, and I have never heard anything from Jim since.
I've been on a health kick lately. Well, my girlfriend dumped me and I wanted to be a different person. With her, I had been this lazy sort of slug who would eat anything. I wanted the revenge body, you know? I wanted her to see me from afar and feel bad about what she had lost. So I went to a health food store for one of those ballerina teas that make you lose weight as though you had a tapeworm, you know? And I wanted a cleanse. Really, I wanted a soul cleanse, but did you know you can buy like 40 different types of cleanses as kits in a box? I had found my ballerina tea and like 6 other teas that promised to fix my electrolytes and detox my blood and stuff. Health food stores are awesome. There are all these magical things. It's the stuff dreams are made of. I was standing in front of this whole wall of cleanse kits. For $40, I could cleanse my liver, my colon, my yeast, and this totally beautiful girl came up to me. She worked there and her name tag said her name was Amaria, Persian or from one of the Istan countries or something. Totally exotic and gorgeous and out of my league. She was probably out of my ex's league too. We had been together for 8 years. You know how people say that one lesbian in a couple is the butch and one is the lipstick or the femme? We hadn't started out like that. We were both women, daughters of Eve. I had been so comfortable for the first time in my life that I guess I let myself go. I want to lose weight and I want something that will make my skin just glow, I said, watching her eyes. Amaria was looking at me intently and my heart started to pound. I could get her to like me, couldn't I? Even if it was just the customer-salesperson relationship between us. I had been such a shut-in for 8 years. Are you a vegetarian? She asked. What is your diet like? No, I'm not a vegetarian, I laughed. My throat hitched the way it does when I need to cry. I faked a cough. I've been eating a lot of TV dinners lately. She waited, so I made my excuse. See, I just got out of this toxic relationship and I haven't had time to cook lately, but usually I'm almost a vegetarian, like I still eat eggs and fish. That got an approving nod, even though it was lies. Toxic? No, we had been fine. Then we had been over. And me, a vegetarian? Vegetarian lesbian? Nope. Too much of a TV trope. I ate normal food like a normal person. Sheesh. The TV dinners thing was true. That and waffles. Beautiful Amaria convinced me to take some stuff for anxiety and some more B vitamins. She said to get plenty of sleep and avoid dairy. Her skin was perfect. I mean, she looked like a shepherdess in one of those old French paintings with a blue sky and all the flowers, you know? How do you take care of your skin? I asked, hoping the stuff wasn't too expensive. Maybe she took a bath in coconut milk once a month. I would, for skin like that. Amaria took a deep breath. I dared myself to ask her for her number after this. Modern lotions contain noxious chemicals and alcohols that can, dry out your skin. She lowered her voice. Even the pure plant butters we sell here are rancid. I just wash in cold water. I never moisturize. This place had 2 whole walls of moisturizers, rose water, nut oils. You could smell like anything or nothing, and she didn't use any of it? I got a number from her, but when I called it later, it was to the health food store, so I hung up. That week, I threw out all my old moisturizers, lotions, even lip balm. I told myself that they reminded me of my ex, so good riddance. I would become a new woman. I would eat new things and be immaculate, and somebody would love me someday, but I was fine for now. My skin started to itch the morning after. I had always moisturized. Little bit on the hands and face in the morning, little bit at night. Lip balm all day long. It felt very weird not to do it. All of my showers were ice cold. The goosebumps made it feel as though my skin was going to shatter. I looked like a plucked chicken until I warmed up. Then came the real, serious wrinkles. At first, I told myself that I had just been out in the wind, that the office I worked in had dry air, but no. I looked 10 years older and it just got worse. I miss the wrinkles now because they were way better than the memories that started flooding back when I saw my old face. You see, I have been in this elderly sort of form before. I had forgotten what it was like to be alone and such a hollow husk. It had been so long. But I remember what my old beauty regimen was now. That's good because the wrinkles turned to black lines. I don't look human, and I suppose that's because I'm not. I ordered a big stock pot, some rope, and an axe. Modern times are wonderful. Too bad Amaria didn't give me her real number. I could have gotten her to come to my place the easy way. Tonight, I'm going to wait for her to get off work. I may look like a prune, but I'm still strong. I'll drag her into my car, take her home, and cook that glow right off her skin. It will serve her right.